Shalom, family. Welcome to Shabbat Conversations with Shad and with
Christiana.
All right. So, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about marriage during pregnancy. So, this should be a very, very good episode. I'm excited. So, the first question of the day is: can you be fully prepared to have a child? What do you think?
I mean, before having a baby, I feel like I could be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily, probably not fully. I don't think you ever be fully prepared.
Yeah.
But I feel like I could have been maybe more prepared. Not more prepared, but if you would have asked me a year before I got pregnant, are you going to be ready to have a baby in a year? I would have said absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think so. I don't think you can be fully prepared.
Yeah.
You just learn as you go.
Yeah.
And it's good times. Anytime you have a baby, it's a blessing. Babies are always blessings. But I think you can prepare a good situation for a baby to be brought in the world.
Yeah.
But I don't think you compare you'll never have the perfect situation for the baby to be brought in the world.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. I don't think you can fully prepare. I think you can prepare to an extent where you wait till you have more money, or you feel like you wait until you're mature enough, or you feel like you have to wait until, I don't know, you wait until certain things fall into place for you. I guess. And I think you can prepare in those aspects, but you can never really fully prepare because one, you don't know how the personality of your child is going to be when it gets there. But they have different, what would you say? They have different temperaments, habits, tendencies. So you're going to have to kind of parent on the fly based on your child's tendencies and habits, right? There are some babies that cry a lot. There's some babies
that's what I would say. I mean, obviously, so I was in my third year of pharmacy school. I think I was in my third year of pharmacy school when I got pregnant.
You got pregnant? Yeah, third year.
I was in my third year of pharmacy school when I got pregnant, which was not ideal. We had discussed this before even getting married. Like, I want to at least finish pharmacy school before we try to start having kids.
Right.
And then I was still going to be in school, but I was at least going to be done with the first part of my schooling. So, but it's like, let me just finish pharmacy school, and then we can start talking about having kids. Obviously, that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So I was in my third year of pharmacy school, preparing to go on rotations, which is like basically working a full-time job at that point. But looking back, like in retrospect, it happened at the perfect time of like schooling.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have prepared it better, and I also couldn't have, to speak to like the baby's temperament.
Right.
Rue was the perfect baby for me to have in school. Like, going through rotations, people used to always like, oh my gosh, I don't know how you do that. But I'm like, my baby does not keep me up all night. Like, God blessed me with the perfect baby to have, like, in that point in my life that I couldn't have prepared for that. Because who knows, if I would have had the baby after I got to pharmacy school, maybe it would have been a completely different baby. Like, maybe I would have had, I don't know, like, I could just had a different baby.
Right.
So, I don't know. You can't prepare, obviously, but I think we had definitely, if we would have had Rue 2 years earlier, we would have made do, but we would have not been in the same financial decision. We would not have been able to give him, like, this life that we are able to give him now, or, like, the decision making we are able, the parents that we are now, not that we perfect, by no means, but it's just, like, the maturity level that we have in our marriage, and, like, just us as adults. It wouldn't have been the same if we would have had him 2 years earlier.
That could be true.
So, or I guess it could have been 2 years early. I guess we could have got pregnant as soon as we got married. Because we had him almost exactly 2 years after we got married.
That's true. And like I said, going back to what I was saying as far as like being prepared, there are certain things that you really can't prepare for. Like you said, like temperament, the crying,
I think that was the big, I'm sorry to cut you off. That was like the biggest thing that I was scared of. I was just like, how am I going to like deal with, I don't think I had ever even changed a diaper before I had my baby. And so it's just like stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not prepared. I never kept a baby. I never held a baby. I never like I held a baby, but I'm like I never like put a baby to sleep on a consistent basis, like stuff like that. That it was just like I feel like before having a baby, I had not prepared my mother instincts enough. But it's just like, how do you prepare that except on the fly?
Yeah. So like I said, stuff like that, especially having your first child, you have to experience on the fly. Like unless you're just like someone that's a babysitter or.
But even still, that's not the same as
your baby. Someone that works at a daycare, or
it's still not your baby.
You know, it's not your baby, but you have a lot of practice.
Yeah.
You know, so people like that, I guess, have more, experience and can be a little bit more prepared as far as like how to handle certain situations if you deal with a lot of babies on a daily basis. But just for the normal, regular human being that works regular 9 to 5s, stuff like that, you have to learn on the fly as far as how to take care, of a human being on a daily basis. Yeah, so even like on our side, like as far as like, you can't prepare for the hormonal changes either. Like, I know for women, that happens, those things change, throughout a pregnancy, so I don't think you really can prepare for that either, because you don't know how or what you might think or feel at a certain point or given time, and also like the milk supply stuff, some women have great milk supply. Some women don't have much milk supply, and I know that's a thing that varies, based on stress level and anxiety and just whatever other factors that keep you from having the, milk supply that you feel like you need or should have.
Yeah, so, I just noticed a lot of people women, I think particularly, like women are quick to say like, I would never do this if I was pregnant. Or if that was me, I would never do this. And it's like, you just would never, you don't really know what you would do in like situations.
That's true, you don't know.
And then from the flip side, we had a lot of people who tell us, a majority of our friends already have kids. And we had a lot of people, and when you feel like, once a woman is pregnant and anybody found out, women just lend all their advice and really personal experiences. Mm-hmm. And so it's just like, girl, when you get to 6 months, you're going to be doing X, Y, and Z. And girl, so it's just like, you have all that going on in your head too. And it's, so you really, but you just don't know, you can never prepare for how you're going to be as a pregnant person, mm-hmm. or as a mom, like after you have the baby, until it happens.
Yeah.
So you can only do so much preparing.
Yeah, there's only so much preparing you can do, there's so many uncontrollable variables at hand. Like the things you can control, That's fine. But you have to be prepared for the uncontrollable variables, and I think a lot of people don't take that into account. You think you wait for a perfect time, you got the finance, you feel like you got the best partner, and you got the house, and you got this, and you got
the perfect job.
The job, and then the baby comes, and now your world is just upside down because the child maybe act a certain way that you didn't think was going to happen, or now you feel like, oh dang, my spouse is not picking up the weight that I thought he was going to pick up, and so there's so many things that come into play when having a child, that even a perfect situation is not perfect.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Even the most perfect thing that you can think of, when the baby comes, there's a lot of things that's going to just not go your way. It's just going to go right out the window. So that's what you got to be prepared for. So.
But you can't prepare for it. You just adjust.
Yeah. And, the best manual, even though it doesn't give just detail by detail, play by play, on raising a child, but obviously the scriptures, talk about the Shema, the V'ahavta, the Deuteronomy 6, talking about even the Proverbs, and it talks about different things on how to raise a child. It just, that is our best manual we have, right? And it gives great pointers on how to raise a child. But even then, experience is a great teacher. Experience and gleaning on other people who's been through it. And it's good to have people in your corner that has already been through the process of having a child, of going through the ups and downs of having a child, the ups and downs of being married with having a child. Because being married with a child, getting pregnant, in a marriage, it changes the dynamic of the marriage. So before the child, it's just you and your spouse, and y'all spending all that quality time together, and y'all growing with each other, and y'all learning each other, and y'all vacationing with each other. There's no, oh, I gotta drop the baby off to a babysitter, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta, I feel sick, I don't feel like doing this today. It's just y'all two. There's no other factors in place. So once the wife becomes pregnant, things change forever from that point forward, you know. So that's one thing that you gotta understand is that, you know, things will change in the relationship, and it's a good thing, you know. Change is not bad, and just because the dynamic changes doesn't mean you have to fall out of love or you're not friends no more. It's just things are different now, and I think, you know, once you come to grips with that, you know, once couples and people that are married can come to grips with the fact that the dynamic of the relationship will change, you know, it can make things better. Because I think a lot of times people become overwhelmed with the fact that things change, and relationships begin to tumble because you have people that are afraid of the unknown. The dynamic will change, and so you have to understand, you know, as a couple that's about to have a child, if you're about to have a child, if you think about having a child, the things will change. The dynamic will change. Now you have somebody else that you have to put first. Now, obviously, you still put each other first, because making sure that your spouse is good, that is the most important. Because if y'all are good, you can then pour into your child. But obviously, there's somebody else that's in the picture that you have to take care of now. And so, so things will change, but it's all for the better, and it's all to, you know, you're just building. You know, that's the whole point of a marriage, is to build. Speaking on, you know, dynamics changing and, you know, things becoming different within a relationship when a baby's in play, do you consider, or did you consider our pregnancy to be healthy? And, you know, if not, why not? And if so, what were some things that made your pregnancy healthy?
Me too, ours. But I thought we had a healthy pregnancy. I loved being pregnant, so I just loved everything about pregnancy. It was really fun. I didn't have a bad pregnancy at all. So like, I loved every minute of pregnancy. So what made it healthy again?
Yeah, what some things that made pregnancy healthy?
You just were really selfless in it. So like, you tried to make sure you made life easier for me.
Yeah.
So that was. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think one thing that I did, not to toot my own horn, but I understand that being pregnant, you know, can be tiring at times. It's a lot with being pregnant. And so just me being your spouse and me just loving you the way I do, you know, I wanted to make sure that you were taken care of. I didn't want you to be overwhelmed. I don't want you to be overly stressed, because we're both working individuals. You know, you're in school, you're working, doing all that kind of stuff. I'm in school and I'm working. And so I didn't want you to have so much on your plate to where you got overwhelmed and it was too much for you, because I feel like that would cause more stress, it would cause more arguments, you know, it would make the pregnancy very, very bad. And so I wanted the pregnancy to be really good, because I'm a big proponent of, you know, the better the pregnancy is, the better the child can come out and be. And I'm just, you know, it's just a stickler that I have. You know, I could be wrong about that. I could be just a little extra about that. Maybe I am. But I do believe that when a pregnancy is healthy.
And from the standpoint of like not arguments, not like from a.
Like diet standpoint?
No, from a standpoint of like, because that could be confusing.
Okay.
From the standpoint of like healthy environment. So the mother is in a healthy environment. Not necessarily like there were no complications, but like the mother was in a healthy environment. The baby was around healthy, positive energy. Not necessarily negative or abnormal health outcomes, but like positive energies.
Right. So that's what I mean when I say healthy. It's just the fact that you set a good tone, set a good environment for the child to come out into, right? And so that's what I tried to foster. I tried to make sure that I treated my wife like a queen. I treated my wife like, you know, I want to make sure to serve my wife. So one thing that I tried to do as far as fostering, you know, a good healthy environment was making sure that the things that my wife were used to doing, you know, as far as like maybe some of the household things or just some things that were more strenuous, I tried to pick up more slack and things that were more strenuous on her. and allow her to kind of, you know, take a back seat in some of the things that she was used to doing, because I know those things could be, you know, tiring, and it can make, you know, and it can kind of make her worn out, or maybe or burnt out, or things of that nature. So I just wanted to make sure that she was comfortable as possible, to the best of my ability, because, you know, still not perfect. You know, I don't do everything right. You know, still have arguments, still regular life stuff, but making sure that we have the most positive environment. That way, you know, it benefits our child when it comes to the world. And I think we did a really good job, and we have a really great son. I'm really proud of his growth and things of that nature. So that's why I think it was kind of healthy, because, you know, just in my opinion, you know, could be wrong. I try my best to, you know, make sure, you know, things are good.
Yeah. The last question is, did pregnancy change how you viewed your spouse or becoming a parent? So pregnancy / becoming a parent change how you view me?
Yeah, I think for me, and I can speak for a lot of men. I think it changed my view initially, because obviously as life progressed, I'm sure, you know, that view will always change. But I'm talking specifically during the time of the pregnancy. It changed my view for the better, because I think as men, you know, we like leaving a legacy. We're big on making sure that our name continues, and all that kind of stuff. And so for me, it made me feel even closer, because now, like, man, my seed is within you, and it just was just a great moment for me, knowing that, you know, this child that we're about to bring into this world, we both were a part of creating this. And so for me, it definitely made me closer to you, because now we share something for real together. And it was just, you know, and that made me so excited for what was to come. You know, finally having, you know, having a family now. You know, obviously we're a family, but having a child, like, you know, it's like a whole unit now. Well, with having a child, so that's what I think as far as that, for sure. What about for you?
I think initially, well, it changed. Obviously, I think it's gonna change everybody. I think initially, I won't say it was bad, but it changed my view of you, because I wasn't ready to have a baby, but Shad had been ready to have a baby. So, like, initially I felt like I was bamboozled when we first got pregnant, because I was like, I just was not ready. I kept telling you I was not ready to have a baby. So how are we ready to have a baby? So I definitely, it didn't alter my view of you, but it took me a while to, like, calm down and realize, like, okay, it takes two people to have a baby, so you can't blame Shai for you getting pregnant, because it takes two people to have a baby. So, but then after that initial, like, shock of I'm really about to have a baby was over, then it made me see the more nurturing side of Shai. I always knew it was there, but I mean, he never had to really exhibit it, I guess. I mean, you always had a soft side. I knew you're not a hard person, so it was never like, I never seen a soft side of you until you had a baby. But it's like, I definitely saw that side more. Like, you were definitely the person that was I can't say way more, but I could see the dad instantly, like, the light bulb instantly went off for you to, like, become a dad. So that definitely changed my view. Like, I always knew you were going to be a good dad, but as soon as you figure out you were going to be a dad, like, I knew you were going to be a perfect father. And so that more nurturing, which is where you get that from your own daddy, because he's very much like that. But that like, nurturing side of you, it definitely changed me to see you in more of that light than I had seen you previously. But I mean, you're a big brother, so you kind of have been doing that for a long time, because you just naturally as a big brother, I feel like you do, and you have little sisters. But it definitely changed my view of you to see that side of you more.
Yeah. Yeah. You think I exhibited a lot of that more once you became pregnant and stuff?
Yeah, because even how you would just interact with Rue, even in my stomach, it just was like, I don't know. it was fun to see you do that, to see you interact with Rue before you do them.
Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If anybody is out there, if you're pregnant or you're thinking about getting pregnant or, things of that nature, I hope there were some gems that you got from this episode. It's been a pleasure. Shabbat Conversations, episode, I think it's 6 or 7.
I think it's 7.
Maybe. But, anywho, hope you guys have a good night. Shabbat Shalom, and I'll see you next time.